Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sri Sri Radhakala Shanji morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Hare Krishna. Today we'll be reading from Canto 2 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 1, text 12 through 14, and we'll be going through verse 12 in full. And we'll start with Jai Radha Madhava. Whoa, look at this. This is quite the string. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashoda Nanda-braja Ranjana Yashoda Nanda-braja Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nanda-braja Ranjana Yasoda Nanda-braja Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Jaya Radha Madhava Sri Radhe Jaya Radha Kalashanji Sri Radhe Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Shri Radha Kalashanji ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devyam Sarasvatim Divisyam Tato Jaya Mudirayat. Drissa? Thank you. Nasta Prayasa Breshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Omegantimarandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Shakshuramritamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Hare Krishna, everybody. So, I'm at quite the big disadvantage today, I've got to say. For 3 or 4 days, we heard from Mukunda Datta Prabhu, and then yesterday we heard from TKG, Tamal Krishna Goswami. They say in sports, I grew up playing sports, and they say you never want to be the coach after the Hall of Fame coach. The expectations are so high that you're like, don't want to be that person. So I feel like I've just experienced the coaches of the Hall of Fame, and now here I am. However, there's another what can I say, a game plan. So what you do is, I'm going to say, for the last 3 or 4 days I've been sick, and I've been taking these medicines and stuff, so my brain's a little foggy. And then this morning I had to drive a couple people to the airport. So what I'm trying to do right now is, my game plan is get expectations really low. Then maybe I can come above these. It doesn't really work if you tell your game plan though, but hey, we're devotees. There is no secrets. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, text 12 through 14. Do we have a microphone by any chance, or it's not working? Oh man. Okay, we'll read the translations 12, 13, and 14. And then we'll come back to 12, and we'll do the Sanskrit translation and purport. Okay. Text 12. What is the value of a prolonged life which is wasted, inexperienced by years in this world? Better a moment of full consciousness, because that gives one a start in searching after his supreme interests. Oh, nice. Text 3. The saintly king, Katvanga, after being informed that the duration of his life would be only a moment more, at once freed himself from all material activities and took shelter of the supreme safety, the personality of Godhead. Maharaj Pariksit, now your duration of life is limited to 7 more days. So during this time, you can perform all those rituals which are needed for the best purpose of your life. So Maharaj Pariksit has been bitten by the snake bird and only has 7 days. And so Sukadeva Goswami is explaining that in the previous verse 13, that Maharaj Katvanga, he was a wonderful king and warrior, and he was invited by the demigods up to the heavens to fight the demons. And he fought so valiantly that the demigods were very pleased. And so they gave him a boon. And his boon that he asked for is to know when he's going to die, when he's going to leave his body. And they said, well, actually, good question, because it's right now, this moment. In a moment you will die. So Maharaj Katvanga immediately went back down to the earth planet and propelled himself by detaching himself from any of his duties and fully focusing on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Sukadeva Goswami is encouraging Maharaj Pariksit that, well, it seems to me that he's encouraging him, saying, well, you have 7 days. He did it in a moment. You got 7 days. Look, you got, another strategy, right? Tell somebody, give a comparison that's really, really a tough comparison, and be like, okay, well, look, you got 7 days. This person did it in a moment. You got 7 days, no problem. Okay. So let's go to text 12. The Sanskrit. Kim paramatasya bahubihi. Kim paramatasya bahubihi. Parokakshir hayanir hiha. Parokshahir hayanair hiha. Varam muhuritamam vidyam. Varam muhurityam vidyam. Viditam. Gayatete shreyashayataha. Gatyate shreyashayataha. Kim paramata shabahibihi. Parakshahir hayanir hiha. Varam muhuratam viditam. Viditam. Gatyate shreyashayataha. Please chant. Kim paramatasya bahabi. Parakshir hayanir hiha. Varam mahuritam vitam. Gatyate shreyashayataha. Kim paramatasya bahabi. Prokshashir hayanir hiha. Varam muhuritam vitam. Gatate shreyashayataha. Anybody else? No? Okay. Kim. What is Paramatasya of the bewildered? Bahubahi. By many. Parokshashahi. Porokshashahi. Inexperienced. Hayanahi. Years. Iha. In this world. Varam. Better. Mahuritam. A moment. Muhuritam. Brahma Muhurta? Must be come from time, right? Interesting. Viditam. Consciousness. Gatate. One can try for. Shreyashay. In the matter of the supreme interest. Yataha. By that. Translation. What is the value of a prolonged life which is wasted, inexperienced by years in this world? Better a moment of full consciousness, because that gives one a start in searching after his supreme interest. Normally I would have students read this because we're not with no mic. I guess I'll read it. Srila Sukadev instructed Maharaj Parikshit about the importance of the chanting of the holy name of the Lord by every progressive gentleman. And in order to encourage the king, who had only 7 remaining days of life, Srila Sukadev Goswami asserted that there is no use in living hundreds of years without any knowledge of the problem of life. Better to live a moment with full consciousness of the supreme interest to be fulfilled. The supreme interest of life is eternal, with full knowledge and bliss. Those who are bewildered by the external features of the material world are engaged in the animal propensities of eat, drink, and be merry type of life, are simply wasting their lives by the unseen passing away of valuable years. We should know in perfect consciousness that human life is bestowed upon the conditioned soul to achieve spiritual success. And the easiest possible procedure to attain this end is to chant the holy name of the Lord. In the previous verse, we have discussed the point to a certain extent, and we may further be enlightened on the different types of offenses committed unto the feet of the holy name. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu has quoted many passages from authentic scriptures and has ably supported the statements in the matter of offenses at the feet of the holy name. From Vishnu Yamala Tantra, Srila Jiva Goswami has proven that one can be liberated from the effects of all sins simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Quoting from Markandeya Purana, Srila Goswamiji said that one should neither blaspheme the devotee of the Lord nor indulge in hearing others who are engaged in belittling a devotee of the Lord. A devotee should try to restrict the vilifier by cutting out his tongue, and being unable to do so, one should commit suicide rather than hear the blasphemy of the devotee of the Lord. The conclusion is that one should neither hear nor allow vilification of a devotee of the Lord. As far as distinguishing the Lord's holy name from the names of the demigods, the revealed scriptures disclose in Bhagavad Gita 10:41 that all extraordinarily powerful beings are but parts and parcels of the supreme energetic, Lord Krishna. Except for the Lord himself, everyone is subordinate. No one is independent of the Lord. Since no one is more powerful than or equal to the energy of the Supreme Lord, no one's name can be powerful as that of the Lord. By chanting the holy name, one can derive all the stipulated energies synchronized from all sources. Wow. Let's read that sentence again. By chanting the Lord's holy name, one can derive all the stipulated energy synchronized from all sources. Woo. Therefore, one should not equalize the supreme holy name of the Lord with any other name. Brahma, Shiva, or any other powerful god can never be equal to the Supreme Lord Vishnu. The powerful holy name of the Lord can certainly deliver one from sinful effects, but one who desires to utilize this transcendental potency of the holy name of the Lord in one sinister activity is the most degraded person in the world. Such persons are never excused by the Lord or by any agent of the Lord. One should therefore utilize one's life in glorifying the Lord by all means without any offense. Such activity of life, even for a moment, is never to be compared to the prolonged life of ignorance, like the lives of the tree and other living entities, who may live for thousands of years without prosecuting spiritual advancement. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So what use is a life that goes on and on and on if it's just equaling that of suffering? Better a life that ends quickly. What did I say? Here you go. The Kshatriya motto is die young and be buried with a nice corpse. You know. So you die young, and when everybody's at your funeral, you look nice, because you still. Yeah. So I was listening the other day. I heard this thing about this guy. I don't know. Anyways, and he said, if I was to give you $10 million, how would you feel about that? Like, people he was talking about, like, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be awesome. Oh my gosh, what a good. He says, okay, if I gave you that $10 million, but today I gave that $10 million, but tomorrow, then you're gonna die. Would you be very happy for that $10 million? Everybody's like, no. And so his point was, it says, every morning you wake up and your life is worth more than $10 million. But do you live life like that? Do you live like you're living a $10 million life? Okay, this is a little bit kind of, perspective of a material kind of energy and stuff like that. But let's equal to that, to the value of our spiritual life. Is there anybody here that would sell their Krishna consciousness for $1 billion? No, right? I mean, it's like when you have some understanding of Krishna consciousness, you know how temporary that is, Okay, what? I'm going to enjoy that $1 billion for maybe, 30, 40 years, depending how old you are. Drissa could probably, possibly do it for quite a while, enjoy that $1 billion. But then what about, your next life and stuff like that? So, in our Krishna consciousness, are we working in a way that we're valuing it like that? With that kind of consciousness, like this is such a valuable thing. I've been working on in the mornings, is when I'm doing my morning program, is I try to tell my mind, like, look, you're going to die at 9 a.m. Why 9 a.m. for me? Okay, well, so I go through my morning program. I do my rounds. I come to Mangala Arti and stuff like that, and then I eat prasadam at 8:30, and then 9 o'clock my work go. I start to work. So if I tell myself, like, look, you're going to die at 9 a.m. So mind, why are you worried about like these things? Like the things that you think about, like, okay, well, this is what I got to do for my day. I got to do this. I got to check that list off, check that. Like, no. Like, listen, you're going to die at 9 a.m. And if you don't, by chance, then you can work on that stuff. then we can deal with it. But it's not that important right now. Right now, what's important is we're chanting Hare Krishna nicely, and we're in the moment, in that quality of that you could die. You could leave your body. On a funny point, I think, oh, at least if I do die at 9 a.m., I just had breakfast, called Sanji Mahaprasadam. Like, hey, seems like a good way to go out to me. You were going to say something, Prabhu? Yeah, right? I'm joking around and being kind of facetious in ways and stuff like that. I'm not being so facetious about really, I've been, working on my morning program by thinking this, like not worrying about the day, like, let's be present with Krishna as most as possible. But in the way I'm being facetious and stuff, but in general, the point of being is that we really must value this time that we have to chant Hare Krishna and to listen to Srila Prabhupada and be in front of the deities. Because at the time of death, our mind is going to be reeling. It's going to be going through so many different things. And it's going to look for valuable impressions in our life. And the more quality time that we're spending with Krishna and the holy name, that more stronger that impression is going to be. And we'll be like, oh yeah, through all my life, I had all these things, but that was the valuable thing. That was the thing that, like, that was the thing that really changed my life. So Sukadev Goswami is encouraging Maharaj Parikshit. Says, hey, you're a king. Drop all your duties. Don't worry about, what's going to happen to your citizens. This and that. And we say that, like, I say that kind of like, just don't worry about your citizens. No, Maharaj Parikshit was the ultimate king. He loved his citizens. He cared about them. His heart, when he saw something, his heart was in it, as they say, And so what I'm trying to do in this minute is try to imagine the love that you have for your family, for your people, and for your loved ones. And Maharaj Parikshit also having this love for his family and for his citizens, and being said, hey, drop it, and just focus on Srimad Bhagavatam. But Maharaj Parikshit, being a pure devotee of the Lord, he had that soberness to realize the temporary nature of the material world. And he knew that the ultimate goal, his goal, was that same goal for everyone else. So him, by becoming Krishna consciousness and doing the best, is the best thing for everyone else. So if you really love this person, that person, or your citizens, or this center, or your community, I mean, we all love our community, right? I mean, like, people ask me, they say, Nanda-braja or Nathan, that's my secular name. What do you think about Dallas? And I'm like, I don't really like Dallas so much. It's a big city for me. Like, I grew up in the Northwest, so I like little smaller cities. But I'll tell you what, I would not give up my community for like anything. like my family, myself, my wife, we've all like received so much in this community, and I know that when I say that, I kind of feel a little bit like guilty in the sense of like taking, like they've given, this is, but that's the point is that devotees are so kind that they are giving so much, and so so you can imagine that you're at a point where it's like give it all up. And Maharaj Pariksha soberness is that, you know what, me giving up this and focusing on the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the best for everyone. It's the best for my community. It's best for my family. It's best for my loved ones. And what's the fruit of that? We don't have usually I'm more interactive, but we don't have a mic. But this time I'm going to be interactive. What was the fruit of Maharaj Pariksha? That he stopped his duties and decided to just focus on his Krishna consciousness. What was the fruit, Rista? We're reading it right now. Maybe they will write books about you. Maybe, Mathuranath Prabhu and his work at Kalashandaji Dham. But it would be sweet. Achyuta Govinda Prabhu in his book distribution at Radha College, we have this science in Jai Shri Radha College Sandaji. We have the science in the Vedas called astrology. And if you get a good astrologer, you can they can tell you the time of your death, or get pretty dang close, And but the astrologers I've talked to is they say they don't reveal this so much because it can really disturb people. You can imagine, like, let's take the negatives of understanding when you're going to die. Okay, if it's going to be quick, if it's going to be pretty soon, it's like you could lament and be like, oh my gosh, I got to take, I got to work out my finances and this and stuff, and you get in this limitation that I only have this part, or if it was a long time, you can think, oh wow, I got so much time to devise so many plans on how I'm going to, live my life. And in the Krishna conscious mood, we could be also take these things, though the same information, and we can use it as a positive. Okay, I'm not going to live very much longer. Okay, let me really condense what's important to me, Let me really get, maybe it's, okay, if it's very soon, okay, Maharaj Pariksha, drop it, let's go to let's go to Vrindavan or New Vrindavan, or let's just sit in front of Kalashandaji and start chanting, and reading some Srimad Bhagavatam. All of a sudden your reading of Srimad Bhagavatam becomes 10 hours a day instead of 15 minutes. Prabhu. Mm. Mm.
What he mentioned is for devotees, astrology would definitely not apply because Krishna can change, can make it longer or shorter.
So Achyuta Govinda, for the people in the ether, Achyuta Govinda Prabhu was mentioning that one of a very, very highly appreciated scholar, astrologer, was saying that for devotees it doesn't work because Krishna's constantly or can change things. He can like, okay, I want you to live longer, or no, I want you to come back home, in so many different ways. Yes, that's one way of looking at it, right? That Krishna, once we become Krishna conscious and we become friends of Krishna, Krishna starts taking control of our life, and he can do whatever he wants because he's always doing it for the best, our best, our best. There is some understanding, though. I'm gonna like Achyuta just like boom. I'm gonna continue on, but with that thought, of that Krishna can change anything. But the point of a devotee could understand that they're going to have a short period of time to live, and they can get their sit down all of a sudden, like I said, 10 hours, or if you like, say it's like 10 years or whatever. okay, you might condense your projects, right? Be like, okay, in 10 years, what's really important to me? What is it? What is the real thing that I really want to leave Srila Prabhupada when I leave this world? And if it's a long distance, okay, I can maybe, have a few more projects and stuff like that. The point I'm trying to make is that the devotee is always using anything for the pleasure of Krishna. And so we have these different sciences and these different things to give us knowledge. And that knowledge is okay because the devotee is so liberal that they can use them for Krishna's service. And the point I was trying to make right here is that either way, that death to the devotee isn't seen as a negative. It's actually a boon to understand that death is coming. People try so hard in their life to pretend like death isn't going to happen. But then in the heart of a devotee, when we really start to comprehend a little bit the eternal nature of the soul and that relationship with Krishna, like, okay, maybe this thing isn't so bad. This leaving your body kind of thing. And with that thought of understanding that death is a real thing, that leaving this body is going to, it really can help to understand what's important in your life. What is it? The things that you do. Are we against projects? Are we against building some future? No. Just make sure you're doing it for Krishna. We have this Krishna House project, and I got to be honest, I'm pretty focused on it. Like how can I work with it? And of course, into some way, I'm thinking, okay, 5 years, and stuff like that. But that's okay, because it can be okay. It is okay if we can understand that a point is that this is for Krishna, and if Krishna wants me to continue to do it, I continue to do it. If not, then it's okay too, because Krishna's got something better for me. It's okay. I wouldn't, when I say it's okay, maybe I'd hold on a little bit tighter and be like, are you sure, Kalashanaji? Are you sure? Sure you want to take this away from me? But if it's his call, then you know that it's for the best interests of the devotee. So how I'm tying that in is that Maharaj Parikshit and King Kantavanga at once can understand that all of the effort that they put in to having a nice kingdom in their service, that all the effort they put into nice service, at once they're okay to drop it, because Krishna wants something better for them. One devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, how can we chant really nicely? And Srila Prabhupada said, chant like you're going to die in 2 minutes. And so, we can make plans, and we can, on our service, and work on it, on how we're going to help and fit into our community and this and stuff. But always prepared that you could leave your body in 2 minutes. And that's very hard for some people. But to a devotee, we can kind of glimpse. We can start to kind of glimpse, like, okay, I can make these plans and I can do these for Krishna. But also the surrender to Krishna is there, that, if he decides to end it now or in 2 minutes or whatever, then it's okay too, because he's doing what's best for me. That's 8:20. Is there any questions, comments, concerns? Please. Matter of fact, yes.
For a devotee, every rising and setting of the sun, one day closer to going back to Krishna. The one who is not in Krishna consciousness.
One more. Yeah. Achyuta Govinda Prabhu is saying there's a verse in Bhagavatam that says that for the devotee, each day is a day closer that they're getting to Krishna, and for the non-devotee, every day, every rising of the sun is a waste, another day wasted, or another day to waste. Is that correct? Oh, Mataji's go with this in. Chapter 3:17. Wow, the page thing, is actually set right on that verse. Whoa. Mataji is speaking from both the rising and the wow, she's right. It was Chris. Did you hear me, Mataji? That what I was saying is that this the page thing. You're right. Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of the life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. The devotee is only increasing their life by chanting and pleasing Krishna. Oh, that was one of those times where you're like, whoa. Anybody else? Comments? Questions? Drista Prabhu.
Sometimes I can have the mindset that right now, I'm not very Krishna conscious this time, but if I was about to die, then, I'd have my stuff together. I'd always I can just, get my stuff together in a moment's notice.
Mm. Mm.
But it's kind of like a dangerous mindset
Mm.
to think that. Because I'm like, I'm about to die, I'll just start chanting. Even though, the whole rest of the day I was just kind of spaced out.
Mm. This is Drista Prabhu is explaining that sometimes his thought process is like, I'm spacing out, and it's okay because I'll get to the point where I'm focusing on my Krishna consciousness. And he was explaining that can be really dangerous, right? Srimad Bhagavatam gives us stories about this, right? About people who become content in their what they're doing, and then all of a sudden they think of a deer. They come a deer and stuff. It is very dangerous. What I found in this is like I have extreme amount of weaknesses, and Krishna is so kind to me that I realize that he puts me like right here, because he knows that I'll just be like do and wander off. Jai Shri Shri Radha Kala Sandaji ki jai. So I was mentioning earlier about how wonderful community is, and I'm having some understanding, that realized knowledge that like how important it is to have devotees around. When I'm in that tough time, and when I'm having a tough time, and I'm, I can't focus on my Krishna conscious well, then you walk outside and it's like Hari Bol, Hari Krishna, hey Hari, Matter of fact, Mukunda Datta Prabhu was mentioning the other day that it's an offense to not be happy when you see a devotee. So actually that really like pierced my heart, and I was like, man, I'm gonna work on being happy when I see devotees. I mean, usually I don't see anybody and like have distaste for it, but sometimes I'm just kind of like, so like, no, I'm gonna be appreciative. So that's my point is that Srila Prabhupada his mercy is so deep and so amazing that just by this community he's built, by his books, he's put us into a situation where it's like we can only not be Krishna conscious if we really don't want to. I'm not saying that there aren't points when we have a tough time, you know what I mean? I get that. But the point is Srila Prabhupada's mercy is so great that he's giving us an opportunity where it's like, it's very hard to like stay stay there. There might be a day, there might be an hour, there might be a couple days, sometimes maybe a week or something like that where we get in a but if we stay in the association of devotees, we chant our rounds every day, then it's like there's a protection there. There's like a protection that, hey, keep on, there's a protection even for the karmis in regularity, right? Like, okay, if I just keep on going my job, sometimes your boss will be like, well, he screws up all the time, but he's here. He shows up for work. There'll be a lot of bosses that are like that, especially fast food places right now, because they're always hiring. So it's basically just we just need a warm body. Okay, again, I'm being a little facetious and stuff, but the point is that by that regularity of sticking with our Krishna consciousness and being in association of devotees, we might have some moments where we're in a lull, but they'll pull, that will pull us. But we shouldn't, our mindset isn't that, oh, because I chant my rounds and because I'm around devotees, that I'm okay. No, we're always as devotees having this internal conversation with ourselves to get better, to improve our Krishna consciousness and stuff. So we don't rest on our laurels, but it is nice to take moments in our time to appreciate Srila Prabhupada, that everything he's given us, and he's given us the ultimate chance. He's given us a real chance to go back home, you know what I mean? Because I'll tell you what, if I wasn't in the association of devotees, and I was just out, in the, some of these devotees are in farm communities. I'm telling you what, I mean, all my hats are tipped to them. But, I really appreciate Srila Prabhupada and Kalashanaji for plopping me right in the middle of a community, and I feel like he's got like a kind of a rope around me. A cow. Anyways. Any other comments, questions? Thank you, Drista. Yes, Mataji. What's your name, please? Kishori Priya. Nice to meet you. Hare Krishna. Mm. 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 Uh-huh. Mm. 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 You're saying, so the YouTube can hear it, and everybody out there, not YouTube. We don't care about YouTube. The devotees listening through YouTube can hear. Your thought is that when we get into a situation where, say, we're driving and there's a moment in time where something might happen where we could lose our life, especially in Dallas. You're right there. Oh my gosh, Dallas is crazy. And the mind chants Hare Krishna, but we don't feel like, are you saying that you don't feel completely like, that it's like kind of like an automatic trigger instead of really feeling that chanting Hare Krishna? Why doesn't it stay with us? Because this is the material world is first of all, I'm thinking of Bhagavad Gita, that the friend is the worst enemy, or the best friend of the devotee. So we aren't the mind. So the mind can help us, though, right there. It's chanting Hare Krishna and giving us a chance to attach onto it, right? And the other, my thought is that this is the spirit, this is the material world. It's going to put situations in front of us that are like death. For instance, situations in our life where we don't understand how we're going to make through it, how we're going to get out of it. You know, there's situations where we get through. It's like, I don't, you know, Krishna, I don't know why you're giving this to me. I don't know how I'm going to get through this, and it's going to take some change and some introspection and about see what is your goal. Is your goal to serve Krishna, or is it to get something? And so this is our learning from mistakes. So when we can sit back and say, oh, you know what? My mind chanted Hare Krishna, but I didn't feel it in my, that's okay, because we've now taken that experience as a way to deepen our Krishna consciousness, right? So, you know, they say that you might be 20% Krishna consciousness and now you're working on 21%. We never lose that stuff. But that introspection and that thought and that process of in that prayer to Krishna, like, hey Krishna, next time I really want to, you know, have that deep, or okay, part of your thought is that how do we keep that? I'm sorry. So we keep that by continually appreciating Krishna for giving us those opportunities. And I mean, we could go to as far as Queen Kunti and say, "Hey, will you keep on bringing these?" I'm not saying I recommend it, but if you wanna take it up a notch, you know, you can pray for those. But the reason why we don't always are feeling that intensity is because of our attraction to something other than Krishna, and because Krishna is leaving us sometimes. Krishna is backing off and giving us the opportunity to see what it's like for him not to be with us, and then maybe for some time, because of our condition, we go, oh, we kind of get, you know, content and be like, ho hum hum hum, and then we go, wait a minute, where are you, Krishna? You know, and then our desire becomes a little bit stronger to call for him. So Krishna's a person who's working with us in our relationship, and sometimes he's going to, you know, back off and let you do you, and then you start to understand, wait a minute, this isn't so good, I don't like this. You know, so then you start calling for Krishna. He goes, okay, I'm right here, you know. And so then when that happens, right, our love for Krishna even gets more deep, right? That we're like, oh, you know, I had this experience that I wasn't seeing you, I wasn't feeling you, and now you're here. I don't want that to go away. And then you know what? It will go away in a few days because we get content again. But the point is if we associate with devotees, read Srimad Bhagavatam and stuff, we can go, wait a minute, what's going on right here? I'm getting content. I'm like, you know, is Krishna gone? Did he leave me? Come back, come back, come back. And our prayer will get stronger and stronger and stuff like that. And that's how we develop that more of that strength to always be with Krishna, is we start seeing those separated times and how nasty they are. And then when the more and more we develop our Krishna consciousness, those times of separation actually become they're no different than our Krishna conscious. You know, we're understanding that Krishna, you know, has stepped away and, you know, disappeared, and so our prayer just becomes more deep. So I guess my encouragement, what I'm answering that is that it's time, those are the times and the opportunities to reflect about how our relationship with Krishna is going, about what we're doing, and then work on it. It's practice. Bob Ross, the famous pincher, says, if there's one secret in this world, it's practice. And so Krishna is giving us the ultimate chances to practice his Krishna consciousness. Is that okay? Okay. Anybody else have a comment on that? Ah. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, Uh, yeah. You can't repress the eternal nature of the soul. You know? It's just the misunderstanding. You know what I mean? Like the soul goes, I'm going to live forever. But we start thinking that, the body's going to live forever. It's just like, just that little shift that, that's just huge shift, but it's just a little shift that Srila Prabhupada has given us to be like, okay, yeah, you are eternal, but not in this body. Okay? Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gora Pramanande Hari Hari Bol.